Hey there, art nerds. So about a month ago, I attended an art supply convention. I attended the International Art Material Trade Association's Creativation. And wow, I got to see so many interesting, innovative, and exciting art supplies, and I shared them with you guys in the vlog. I wanted to kind of take some time to talk about some art supplies that really stood out to me. So I am a watercolor comic artist, and a lot of what I want to show you guys is stuff that spoke to my heart and what I do. And I think if you guys like what I do here on the channel, you will really enjoy this curated list of upcoming art supplies that I saw at Creativation 2024. I've heard pretty good things about Altenew's watercolors, particularly their half pans. I have heard that they're utilizing superior watercolors. Unfortunately, while at NAMTO, we couldn't find anyone to talk to us about their new watercolor paints, but I would love to get my hands on some and try them out for you guys for us to see if they're worth your money. So here are the tubes. They have illustrations painted with the paints up. As an artist, I love to see that. I love original art, and I love seeing when companies work with and hire artists. These are Sailor's new Hokuro fountain pens, and they're not really fountain pens so much as they're dip pens with a small reservoir that come with interchangeable fountain pen style nibs like you guys see here. And I know that Paper and Ink Arts will be carrying these really cool little dip pens. This is the Mungyo booth. Mungyo is coming out with tube watercolors. That's pretty exciting. I would love to try those. And they are also coming out with a magnetic makeup pan style palette that you guys see here. This is going to be carried through Jury's Artorama, and I am particularly interested in getting my hands on something like this. It is really modular. The pans come in different sizes, and it's really easy to replace them. You can also change out the mixing palettes at the top. I think this is a really neat, slim idea for my friends who like to do plein air painting or travel painting, or maybe you're just looking for a watercolor palette with a smaller profile that would take up less space. Like if you're somebody who paints at your kitchen table, for example, you could get a lot of paint in there without it taking up a whole lot of room. This is the new product showcase. They've got a lot. I'm gonna try to show you guys what I can. And I think they're tiered by brand. And I'll just, oh, there's the Winsor Newton. I was literally, no, it's Derwent, I'm sorry. Oh, I have something interesting to share with you guys from Derwent that we were not recording at that time, but they are releasing a watercolor set that is separate from their Inktense set. So if you like the working properties, this is it right here. If you like the working properties of Inktense, but you want reactivatability, you want to layer it more like watercolor, this is coming out for you. But what really got me is they've got these new, and they're not showing them, but that's okay. They've got these new water brushes that you guys know I don't like water brushes. I think I like those water brushes. They are bigger in the hand, they hold more water. It is easier to press the water like depression button. They're just better built than a lot of the water brushes that I've tried. And so far, people have been really nice talking to us and sharing information and showing us what's new. Ah, yes, the new paint puck bowls. I'm excited about these too. I may move away from my click and go cup and just move to this. We have to see, I have to actually hold it and see how collapsible it is. And ooh, okay. These are the King Art. I've reviewed King Art watercolors before, but I've never really played with their brushes. So that would be interesting. Sorry if I'm giving you guys motion sickness. Trying not to. we're seeing a lot of
there's the Hanamula. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm just doing the circle of the deco art. We're seeing a lot of the move towards more sustainable products, more sustainable packaging, like moving away from garbage plastic to metal tins, which I love, and cardboard packaging. We're seeing using more recycled polymers for acrylics, like we talked about at Collab. So, you know, I love it when we really do it. When we can actually, ooh, that is cool. The sensory art, that's exciting. And then, ooh, those are some beautiful pastels. Of course, the Sennelier, some beautiful pastel sets. And the Rocky Nook Morpho books. They've got and you guys know I like the Morpho books. And they've got some more entries, which, hey y'all, hands and feet, that's important. So I am like really excited about what's coming out. Like the Revival tubes, they were out of dot cards, so I'm gonna have to get a hold of these. Like maybe I can write to them and they can send me one, but I will probably be buying those because they have Tyrian purple, and I love Tyrian purple, and it is so hard to find as a color, and it's a beautiful red purple that just mixes so well for skin tones and stuff. So I'm really excited about what new art supplies are coming out. Sometimes I feel like I've seen everything. I've seen a lot of junk for sure. Not today, not this weekend. But like as a reviewer, I see a lot of junk. And this weekend I have seen so many cool things. Like I finally got to try a Cosmotop from Da Vinci, and I really like it. And I'm gonna have to source some Cosmotop quills. But we have seen just so much, like this guy here, very cool. And I appreciate the smaller form factor too, because we have one of them. We've had a couple over the years, but we currently have one as part of our lighting setup. And for years, it just took up a lot of space with the base. And they have a new base design that's just more portable and less trippable. And I love that. So I'm really excited by all the, that Niji watercolors that I've been wanting to like try out. I've just been excited this weekend by what we're seeing that's new. Core is launching 20 new colors next year. Unfortunately, they're not going to have these available in an all-in-one 20 color set unless, you know, maybe there's demand for it. But we will be able to pick these up open stock, and they will be in some of the sets that they're going to release. Sennelier's La Petite Aquarelle palette got a facelift, and now on the back it has a screw mount that you can attach to this arm clap that you guys can see just barely out of shot there, which makes it ideal for plein air painters who like to travel. You could also buy the arm mount and use that with palettes that you have kind of adjusted. The Japanese paper place is releasing these really cool different kits in collaboration with Beam Watercolors. They've got postcard kits, they've got Shikeshi kits. These are just so perfectly curated. They are very cute, and I think they would be a great way to get into a new hobby or to pick up some new skills. I would love to try these out for myself, especially because we've talked about watercolor kits a lot and I've reviewed some really terrible ones. It'd be wonderful to try out some really nice, thoughtful, and curated watercolor kits. Holbein has a lot of really neat stuff coming out. Some of these are already out, like the pigment paste that you guys see here. So these are just pretty much pigment and a little bit of a water-based carrier agent, and you can mix them with watercolor media like gum arabic or a bit of honey and use them as a watercolor. You can mix them with acrylic plasticizers and use them as an acrylic, or you can use them for traditional wood block printmaking. That's what these were originally released for, and this is what gets me really excited. As somebody who has a background in printmaking, I know how toxic and how hard to clean up many of the materials that we use for traditional printmaking. Even linoleum block printmaking inks can be kind of a pain to clean up. So something that's water-based like this might be able to offer so many more opportunities, so much more access in terms of cleaning it up and not dealing with solvents, and being able to work on these from home around kids and around pets, and also access to more colors than you might be able to afford with traditional printmaking inks. So I thought these were really cool, and I would love to try these out, especially with some printmaking. They also have some oil pastels that have recently come out. They are beautifully packaged, but what's really cool about these is these are like in a hard pastel-esque format, right, with the hard sides and the sharper edges, which if you like to work in detail, these might be a little bit easier for you to work with than traditional oil pastels, which are typically in rounds. They also have color pencils, which we knew about. These have been out for a while. They have their fans and devotees. They're now more accessible and more available in the US because Holbein America has brought them over and has done all the legwork and all the testing to make sure they are labeled appropriately so that Americans can buy them and be aware of whatever hazards might come with some of the colors. That happens with art supplies. There are sometimes hazards. But what's particularly interesting, I think, is they have an anniversary set coming out. And you see that beautiful wooden box in the background? That is their anniversary set. So it's got all of their colors in this furniture-esque box that you can have out on display. It is absolutely beautiful. If I used color pencils more in my work, I would definitely want the anniversary set. Anniversary set isn't the only way you can get a hold of Holbein color pencils. They'll be available open stock as well as in curated smaller sets like some of these metal tins that you guys see here. I love how bright, colorful, and reusable the packaging is. In addition to their color pencils, they offer this product called Melts, as well as the Melts pen. And what this does is it melts the binder of the color pencils and gives you almost watercolor-esque effects. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about because I took the Holbein class and got to play around with this. Before we dive back into Melts though, I'm going to show some beauty shots of the Holbein anniversary palette with you guys. I did talk about this a lot more in the interview that we did with Matt from Holbein. So if you're interested in more of their art supplies, you guys got to check that interview out. They have all sorts of cool things coming to the US, but this will give you guys a real idea of just how much attention to detail and care has gone into the anniversary set and just how gorgeous those colors are. Offers a lot of different mediums. We have the watercolor medium, their oxgall, and their gum Arabic medium. They also offer a gum Arabic paste. This is a demonstration of Melts using their color pencils on a synthetic watercolor brush just to show you guys how much it dissolves the binder and allows the pigments to move around. Now, those of you who use watercolor pencils, you guys might be thinking this looks really similar to that. And you know what? That is true. If you like watercolor pencils and you're a water media artist like I am, you might not see the need for this in particular, but I know I have some color pencil fans in my audience, and I thought you guys might be interested in this because we have tried all sorts of different things, including isopropyl alcohol and alcohol markers to blend our color pencils. Holbein also has this very cute little red palette here. What I love about this little red palette is look at these pans, right? You can fill these from tubes. You can pop the pans out. You can shuffle them around. So this is like a stay wet style palette where you can actually move the colors around. I really hope this sees wider distribution in the US because I'd love to get my hands on it. I also want to talk about the Holbein Iridori Gouache that's coming out. Now, those of you who have hung out with me here on the channel, you guys know that I am a fan of the Iridori watercolors that have since been discontinued. And Holbein has a big, beautiful array of watercolors, including themed collaboration sets like this one here. How cute is this? There are also themed collaboration sketchbooks using their Ibis watercolor paper that I'm really hoping to see in some of my local stores. We haven't yet seen the half pans or the half pan palettes at any of the stores in my area, but gosh, I hope they will consider carrying them. And look at the Kitty Cat Parade sketchbook. Is this not the cutest sketchbook? It is so whimsical and so charming. Unfortunately, I think my local store doesn't carry the Holbein sketchbooks. They don't carry their Croquis sketch. They don't carry the Ibis sketchbooks. So I may have to look online to find these. But I do have some of the Ibis Shikishi boards that have the Ibis watercolor paper on them. So at least I can kind of give that a try here. And then look at their half pans. I have been a fan of Holbein watercolors for a long time. I've been using them since I started painting with watercolor, and I've never gotten to try their half pans. And they have so many really beautiful travel and portable palettes that would just be a delight to use. So maybe at some point in the next few years, I'll finally have a chance to review these for you guys, because if I love the tube watercolors that they offer, and if I recommend the tube watercolors that they carry so highly, I have to think their half pans are something pretty special and definitely worth at least checking out and sharing with you guys and talking about, right? Because unfortunately, with like the Mission Gold watercolors, I really like their tubes, and then their half pans just weren't as good as the tubes. And I want to double check before I, give it the Natto Soup Studio seal of approval. But I'd love to try out the half pans and see if their half pans are as good as their tube watercolors. So when I went to Japan the second time around in 2018, you could find Holbein watercolors and Holbein art supplies pretty much at any major store. We could even find the sketchbooks at some family marts. This is how ubiquitous this brand is. And here in the US, it is so much harder to find this at your local store. But just look at the selection they have of sketchbooks. Those Croquis books are really great for walking around a new town and sketching and doing urban sketching and studies. I've never tried their drawing books, but I have tried those little craft paper and red covered hardcover sketchbooks that you guys saw just right there out of shot. Those have a thinner watercolor paper, but they handle like urban sketching, plein air sketching, doodling, fountain pens really well. These are a lot of fun, and they're also a good option for travel watercolor. I haven't had a chance to try out any of those white colored Ibis watercolor sketchbooks yet. I would love to at some point in the future, although, when it comes to me and nice sketchbooks, I'm always so worried about ruining it that I tend to hoard them instead of using them. So what I'd really like to do is like try out a sample of it and then maybe commit to them. But you guys can see that Holbein has a whole range of paper products that we don't frequently see here in the US. Now, in the full interview, we talked about oils, we talked about water-soluble oils, we talked about acrylics and acrylic media and acrylic additives and matte acrylics and acrylic inks, and we even talked about Maxon, which is owned by Holbein and makes tones and it makes comic supplies. I'm not going to include all of that here because this is just like the absolute, you cannot miss this top hits of NAMTA for me, and I don't want to lose you guys, but if you love art supplies as much as I do and you want to see what Holbein has to offer in full, make sure you check out that interview. Now, I know some of you guys are really getting into gouache, so I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Holbein's gouache line, which they already have an 89 color extensive line, and they've just added the Iridori colors to their gouache line. So if you're like me and you like the Iridori watercolors, those have been added back to the gouache. I was also really excited to see more artist and brand collaborations, like this Willow Wolfe brush collaboration, as well as the creative Carrah collaboration with Spectrum Noir and their alcohol markers. This is just so bright, colorful, and charming. I also want to talk to you guys about Chibitronics. What's really cool about this is you are using electronic components that you design yourself to create really cool custom cards or bookmarks or dioramas. You can add sound, you can add light, you can add special effects, and everything is really modular. Like they have this templates notebook here where they show you what components to put where to achieve what effects. And what I really like about this is, you guys know, I'm not a card maker necessarily, but I did take electronics in high school. I do actually have an interest in the hardware side of things. And something like Chibitronics can make that accessible so that you can start working it into your art, into your cards, into your dioramas without spending a whole bunch of money and having to learn an entirely new skill from scratch, because a lot of these are designed to kind of hold your hand and make it easier for you to pick it up as you go along. And I think that's really cool. Now, the Cool Arts folks have a lot of interesting things coming out, and we did interview them, so we can show you guys more of those in depth if you check the interview out. But what I am the most excited about personally is their revival colors. They have a line of colors that have been lost to time, that were once popular colors, particularly during the Victorian era when Winsor Newton first kind of came about, and they're bringing some of those colors back, some of them with new formulations. Like Tyrian purple would consume a lot of mollusks if it was true Tyrian purple, and it's just exciting to get to play with those colors. They are also doing some artist collaborations with their watercolors, which, as a girl who likes to see artists get paid, of course I am excited about that. And I also like seeing what colors other artists curate, what colors other artists use, and how they use them. So it's really exciting to see them do some more collaborations with artists and also offer some really cool gift sets for Christmas time in case you want to give the gift of art. Unfortunately, we don't have an interview with Chartpak, which is a shame because they distribute Kuretake in the US. And those of you who know me know I like Kuretake products, including this absolutely gorgeous anniversary set of their Gensei Tombi watercolors. Look how beautiful this is. It's like it matches the Holbein color pencil set. If you like aesthetic art supplies, they've got you. These are so beautiful. Am I going to be buying the anniversary set? No, because I already own most of those colors in smaller sets. Am I excited about the anniversary set though? Yes. They've also released some new colors, including pigments inks in the Higgins lines, and they're also releasing the Kuretake Ink Cafe line, which I know has been available, but now they're going to make it more available to a US market instead of us having to go through the gray market to buy it. They are also releasing some of Kuretake's Seiboku, I believe, watercolors, the ink stick watercolors, which I would absolutely love to play around with, would love to try. It's a form of watercolor that I've never gotten to dabble with, and they are beautifully packaged. Just check them out up here. Is that not gorgeous? I would love to play with these. I would love to take a class on how to use these. They are just beautiful. They are kind of pricey though, because I've already priced them a bit on Amazon. They're about $100. Interestingly enough, Grumbacher, which is also released by Chartpak, has a line of Gensai style watercolors coming out. I'm not really sure what's up with that because they also release Kuretake. So Kuretake has a set of super granulating watercolors. They were announced at the show. Really excited about them. So I hopped on Amazon, found them, and bought them from the official Kuretake store. And I do have a review of these coming up that I can't wait to share with you guys. I've been hinting all about it in my shorts and on my community tab. So you guys might have already gotten a sneak peek, but this was something that I was so excited about that I really had to check it out and share it with you guys as soon as I could. We went over to ShinHan and they've got some new stuff as well. They've got half pans for their watercolors and this really cool travel watercolor half pan set. I mentioned earlier about art kits. Yasutomo is releasing several watercolor brushes that are made in China and made in Japan. So they're like for sume and for Chinese watercolor. They have also released several more traditional Japanese art kits, including this Gensai kit with shikishi boards and a sumi painting kit. And I hope these are popular and people love them because I would love to see them offer even more traditional Japanese art in a format that's accessible for Americans to try out and learn on their own, because there is a whole world of really cool art forms that we're just not educated about here in the US, and these kind of art kits can make that more accessible. Yasutomo was generous enough to send me all of the things that you guys see here. So a bunch of brushes and 2 watercolor kits and a sumi kit. So I can't wait to share these with you guys and talk about them more in depth here in the channel. So hopefully you guys will keep an eye out for that. I mean, seriously, check out all of these brushes and all of the sizes and all of the different fibers that they're being offered in. If you're interested in sumi or if you're interested in Chinese watercolor, these could be a great way to access brushes that are typically harder for us to find, harder for us to vet, or can be really expensive when you do find them. Daniel Smith has a range of gouache that they're coming out with, and I did talk about it quite a bit in my interview with Daniel Smith if you guys are curious about that. But I've got a couple of the tubes right here, Moon Gold, Moon Glow, and Cobalt Turquoise. Sorry, again, I have a headache. And I cannot wait to swatch these against their watercolor counterparts and see how they compare. So Stoneground was also at NAMTA, and I picked up, well, first of all, I took one of their classes and I absolutely fell in love with their paints. These are made more like traditional English watercolors would have been made 100 years ago, and they paint beautifully. They are just gorgeous paints, and I can't wait to share what I've learned about these with you guys and paint some stuff with you guys, because in the class I had so much fun painting with these and enjoying the colors. Paint Puck has released the Collapsibowl, and obviously I bought one while at NAMTA, but this is a larger kind of collapsible cup system that already has the Paint Puck scrubby base inside. It's got side thingies so you can hang your brushes outside of it or inside of it. The bottom functions as a suction cup and suctions to your desk, so it's much harder to knock over if you've got cats. And also it acts as a drip catch while your brushes are dripping. What are you most excited about seeing come out in the near future? I have already reviewed the Gensai Tanbi Granulating Watercolors, and that'll be coming out for you guys. And obviously, I already have the Paint Puck Collapsibowl in my possession. I just need to put it to good use. And I have Daniel Smith's new gouache in my possession that I am going to compare against their watercolors to see how they handle differently. So I've already got a lot of stuff that I am excited about. And I also have the Yasutomo art kits that I'm really looking forward to spending the time to take a look at and to explore and to share that with you guys. So I have already a lot of the stuff that I'm really excited about. But I want to know what you guys are looking forward to. What made your heart go pitter patter, and what set your imagination ablaze? If you haven't checked it out yet, the Creativation vlog is up. It's here on the channel. I also have some interviews with some of these art supply manufacturers that I think you guys will really enjoy. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and allowing me to share what's coming up with art supplies that I think you guys should know about it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye, guys!